My name is Dennis Seatsma, Homestead, Florida, USA. Dennis John Seatsma Productions. It's September 20th. It's a Friday, 2024, 7:34 a.m. Homestead, Florida. Florida City is at the southern end of the Florida Turnpike, south of Miami, north of Key Largo. The subject of this video documentary is my 1994 Chevy Astro van that I've owned since new, that I'm trying to bring back to daily driver status. Today I'm going to go to Napa in Homestead at Lucy Street, or excuse me, Maury Drive and 6th Avenue. The Napa store, I ordered this stud replacement, and if it's not acceptable after I examine it, I'm going to refuse it. I also ordered a new radiator from Napa that's supposed to be delivered today. Now, I'm a little concerned about that because Napa sometimes promises delivery as fast as Amazon, and sometimes that's just not true. So, sometimes it's day later and sometimes not at all. So, not sure what's going to happen with that, but if I get the radiator today as promised, this project will move quickly forward, because I got the AC bolt the other day and installed it, and I did other things too that will help me get towards back on the road. Next segment. It's really early, and I've got some errands I have to run in Homestead early this morning, and once I get those done, I need to go to Home Hardware. I got some plumbing to do, and once I get back from those errands, I'll be doing more work on the van. Next segment. This is the Spectre radiator I ordered from Rock Auto and gonna return, and the threads on it were not good on the lower right hand corner for the transmission line, and the upper, or well, anyway, the upper, and it's not, it's like not hardened steel, it's like some kind of alloy, and I couldn't get the fitting to go into that. I got the fitting to go into that one, but wouldn't go into that one. And the lower fitting here, that wouldn't work with the Samsung. So, and I damaged the line trying. So, ordered a new Sunsong line. Sunsong makes the oil cooler lines. Anyway, hopefully Rock Auto will accept my request for a refund due to poor quality control on this Spectre, which is unusual for Spectre. I've never had any problems with Spectre products. They've always been really good, but the quality is just not the same on these connectors. This is some kind of alloy, and the OEM is like hardened steel, or something more durable than that alloy, so you can't cross thread it. I ordered another radiator, this time from Amazon. It's supposed to be delivered tomorrow. That's in case the one from Napa doesn't come in. Amazing low price on Amazon, like 96 bucks including tax and delivery, as opposed to 177 for Rock Auto, and 220 with taxes from Napa. So gives you some idea of the markup on stuff like this. They can sell it from Amazon for 90 bucks and change, including tax and delivery. So gives you some idea how much money they make on every replacement radiator, I guess. Anyway, I just can't wait anymore, people. I got to get this van going. It's taken me too much time to mess around with a radiator. Oh man, time, she is flying. And it's a beautiful evening out here tonight in the avocado grove, but it's hot and steamy, and I'm sweating real good. Anyway, as nice, as flat and solid as this new piece of plywood is on my porch here. You ever see the Wizard of Oz where the Wicked Witch of the East, she gets a house lands on her and her toes curl up? Well, that's what's going to happen here unless I use some real nice deckmate 2-inch screws and my Milwaukee, using the bit that comes with that and my drill index. So I had to snap lines. A good carpenter will take careful measurements before doing any work, because you want those screws to hit along the lines where the support lumber is underneath. You don't want to miss that. And these are 2-inch screws. To go through all of that and hit wood underneath, I might have to go more than 2 inches. But we'll try the first one and then see how it feels. So this is, everybody says, you do carpentry work too, you do transmission work, engine work, electronics, electrical engineer, climb telephone poles. Say, yeah, you know, God gave me some skills. Plus my father was a genius, and my father-in-law was a genius, and he taught me a lot, or both of them did. And they had a lot of people that had skills too back in the day, where you couldn't just run out and look on Craigslist or Angie's or whatever and try to find somebody that won't take you for a ride and will do good work for you. So anyway, this is the grid. Let's put in 1 or 2 screws and see how I like it. And we'll move back to the van and other projects here in a little bit. Anyway, when I select my screw size and drill size, the way I do it is I take the drill index and I ferret out one that isn't too fat or too skinny and get the right size bit and drive in 1 screw, and we'll see. But I built this house myself in 1984, and yes, I pulled all the permits, and you know, it's stupid to build stuff without pulling permits, because if you don't, you can't insure it, and if you have a loss, you can't prove it ever existed. And I put in extra concrete and steel. I knew a lot of builders in the area. I took tips from all of them, but I was the general contractor. There was no other. I did use a subcontractor for laying the block and for doing the concrete finish floor, and use some contractors to put the trusses up with a crane. You know, all of that stuff. I don't have a magic wand. So anyway, if you want to do something, you just have to read books and ask people questions and study how other buildings are built. And these commercially built developments are real garbage, the way they're put up, cookie cutter style. They meet code and everything, but you know, and they'll probably last until the mortgage is paid, but they're certainly not built as solid as a custom built home is. CBS here, built to withstand 200-mile-an-hour winds or more. Anyway, I'm going to carry on here. I don't think this 2-inch is long enough, and I got 3-inch and 3.5-inch, and 3.5 is pretty dang long, and I don't want to split the wood underneath it, but I'll show you how we do. I love these deckmates. These are the only things I want to buy and use is deckmate, and I got to go to a special place to buy them, like Home Depot or online. And there's other brands too, but I like these. Anyway, watch how, with the bit, how easy this goes in. Bang, she's in, baby. In there. In like Flynn. But I'm going to get some longer screws, and it's going to rain again, dang it. But at least I got my line snapped, and always drill the holes first, all of them, before you start setting screws. And that way you can get a good solid flat, you know. Otherwise it might warp up on you a little bit. And say, well, why not just drill well, because you crack the wood. You gotta think over time what stresses you're putting on the material if you don't drill it. So drill everything first, and do plenty of them. By Miami-Dade code, you're supposed to have 44 nails or screws in every sheet of plywood, 4x8. And of course nobody does that. That's why everything blew away in Hurricane Andrew. We had developers that would put in 1 or 2 screws and then go on to the next sheet of plywood. Because, you know, screws are expensive. So is iron, steel, rods, and concrete, and, you know, and everything they didn't put in, they put in their pocket. Because, you know, they were designed to be built to code. And, you know, my friend John Pistorino was the engineer that discovered a lot of this. John did a study after Hurricane Andrew on PBS, public television. And John and I were friends ever since I first met him. I was a student at the engineering department of Miami-Dade Miami-Dade College, formerly Miami-Dade Community College. And John was the head of the department. He was impressed with me because I already had a first-class radio telephone license the first term. And that was one of the courses, so I showed him the license. He gave me an A for the course. And John and I were friends ever since. And I graduated at the top of the class because I was interested in engineering. To me, it was fun stuff. Anyway, guys, enough of this jawing. Let's get some more work done before the sun goes down again. And it's getting close to 7 o'clock again. And today is the 20th. The 20th of September, 2021. Now, you think it's laying flat till you draw down on these screws, and you feel it really hit hard if you hit the wood. If you miss that's the other reason for drilling it. And you see I've used plenty of extra carriage bolts and wood and anchored to the concrete and bolted to the wall. Because if this thing comes loose in a hurricane and hits my car, it won't be a happy day. And that's what happened in Hurricane Andrew, is the whole shebang came off and hit the car that was parked nearby, and basically made it where it wasn't restorable again, without a lot of money. The parts alone were crazy. Have to go to Arizona to get them. It was a 1970 Olds 98. It was my grandfather's car that he bought in 1970. Anyway, I got most of the screws in there. I'm going to drill more holes tomorrow when I'm fresh. I'm really tired right now. And put some in between the checkerboard. But for tonight I'm done with this. We'll move on to another project in the next segment. Moving on to my 2005 Honda Civic. Friday, September 7th. Friday, September 20th, 2024. Didn't want to start too good, so putting an equalizing charge on it right now using this Schumacher 15 amp SC1280, model SC1280. Put an equalizing charge, and I mark all my batteries when they're new. This one's a little long in tooth. It's 2024, and this was January 2021. And what kills batteries is sulfation, and batteries are so expensive now. And the warranty is like bumpkus, like 90 days or something like stupid. But anyway, I'll show you how to test the battery here. But you first want to make sure it's fully charged by putting a equalizing charge on here. It says it's 100%, but that's how you do it. Equalizing charge. That's to top off the battery, make sure it's fully charged. If it has a problem, this is a smart charger. It'll tell you if the battery is too far gone to be charged. It'll give you a blinking light or some indication. It also tells you the battery type. This says this is a standard battery, whereas over on the Astro van it says AGM. But we're going to move this charger over to the Astro van. Now that this been on it for hours now, and I've done this 2 or 3 times where we equalized it. Next segment. Okay, the next thing is we want to check the voltage after the battery's been fully charged with an equalizing charge, or 2 or 3. It's a few minutes after 7 on the 20th of September, of Friday, 2024. You know, I'm an actual electronic and electrical engineer degree with a 2-year degree from Miami-Dade College, formerly Miami-Dade Community College, and You want to check the voltage with the digital because they'll give you a better idea. So, next segment. Okay, I got a reading of 13.33 when I tried. Let me try to get this on camera so you can see it for real. It's shit. Come on. 13.33. Come on. Alright. I can't do this. It won't let me. It's too fiddly. Anyway, 13.33 without the engine running with a full charge. Now, did you know that Bill Nye the Science Guy is just an actor? I'm the real deal. I'm telling you true. And I worked in government and private sector for about 60 years, all in all. So I'm going to test this with a load tester now. They call this a toaster, and I'll show you why in a minute. This is a Schumacher. Schumacher BT4. Schumacher BT. Come on, focus. BT453. And this thing gets hot as a pistol. But we're going to start by just doing simple hookup. And you got to be careful with this because only one terminal goes. The other one doesn't go anywhere. So you got to be careful to make sure you got a good connection. And we're showing about the same voltage, 13.33. Then when we hit the trigger, watch the magic. It ought to stay in the green if the battery's good. Now this is drawing 135 amps of current right now. 135 amps. And the coil on the back is hot as a pistol. So, looks like the battery's alright because it's staying in the green. And it's staying, ooh, very hot. Alright, now when I set this down I have to be real careful, people, because it is hot. Okay, so it's past 2 tests, so I don't need to plunk down another $200 on this battery. But I want to check the alternator's output. Now the alternator, the physics involved and the science and the technology, how an alternator works, is beyond the scope of this video. Let's just say it converts mechanical power to electrical power to keep this battery healthy and fully charged no matter the conditions of the load, whether you have the stereo on high, the AC on high, the heater on high. So what we're going to do is we're going to start the car and then check the voltage, and it ought to be up should be above the 13.33. A fully charged flooded cell battery, and this is a flooded cell battery unless I'm mistaken, should be 14.25 volts DC as checked with the digital voltmeter. And if that voltage doesn't go up, and you turn the headlights on and you turn the fan, you put all the loads on as high as you can in the car and check that voltage. So we're going to pause the camera for a minute. I bought this car new in 2005 and it's got over 200,000 miles on it, and I do most all the maintenance and repairs on it myself. I like to do my own work. The AC blows 40-degree cold. And let's check the voltage now. I got to pause the camera for that. Okay, it was 13.09, which is too low. It ought to be at least 14 volts, or it should come up to 14 volts after it's been running. So I got this neat little thing, and I'll show it to you, where I can monitor the voltage. Modern cars don't give you the ability to know the voltage. They just do everything with lights or indicators. But I have something that plugs in here to the cigarette lighter and gives you the voltage as you're driving down the road. So that's what I got to do next. I got to find that device and plug it in and watch my voltage. And I got other repairs I got to do here. The AC is sticky on the hot or the cold, and it doesn't always do well for me. But when I'm checking the AC, it's going to rain again. I hear the thunder. Guy got hit and killed by lightning here in Fort Lauderdale yesterday. Nice young man. Let's see, how should I say this? I think he's African American. But anyway, nice young man. He was on his bike and he hid under a tree during a rainstorm, and it hit the tree and killed him dead as a mackerel. And his family is getting very upset. Nice young man. Probably had a lot of potential had he survived that thunderstorm. But don't hide under a tree in a thunderstorm. So, I got to take this thing back to Lowe's next time I go to town. So 218,000 miles on the clock so far, and when the transmission and engine goes on this, it'll probably be done, even though the interior's in pretty good shape. And I got my wolf box, my 360. I love my work. You know, people, pedestrians, they go out at night and they wear dark clothes and then they run in front of cars, thinking, oh, well, if some rich guy hits me, I'll sue. Yeah, well, you could get hurt doing that, because I can't see you if you run out of the hidden places wearing dark clothing at night. Anyway, let me look for that thing. It's in the car here somewhere.